I'd like to come every time they have a show too. I love it.
We've waited all my life to come here.
Like the original American Idol we were saying before.
Yeah, like the original talent show.
Apollo Amateur Night, 10 contestants come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 got booed. So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They come out, one of them will win, one will come in second place, one will come in third place. Those 3 people will move to next week where we have the finals, the super top dog, and that is the end of the season. Somebody walks away with $10,000, not me.
If you like them, what y'all gonna do? That's the energy that I want throughout the course of the show. Now, this is the only show in the world where you don't have to like them, and you can let them know immediately. So if you don't like them, what y'all gonna do?
When you come in to see Amateur Night at the Apollo, when you walk through the door, there's this energy, you know, that you feel. The music is playing. You see people from all over the world walking through the doors, some for the first time, some are repeat visitors. And it's just like a wonderful spiritual energy that everybody feels when they walk through the door. Back in the 1960s, you could find me running errands for James Brown, Flip Wilson, Moms Mabley, and the Motown acts, particularly when they had the Motown Review, which came to the Apollo Theater. Ray Charles, I would go for his band members to a restaurant that was on 124th Street and 7th Avenue. And it was owned by a famous boxer back then, a guy named Sugar Ray Robinson. So they would take their orders, I would write down the orders, I would get their chicken dinners or fish dinners, chicken sandwiches and things like that. One night I come by and it's the Amateur Night show. And I see these little boys rehearsing, right? And there was a little one in front of the other little boys, a little short one. Come to find out, they were called the Jackson Brothers. And Michael was 9 years old when I first saw him doing the Amateur Night show. I was here that night. And you knew right then and there they were special.
Have you ever booed anybody?
I try not to, but as a former actor, you know, I would never want anybody to boo me. But I have been tempted to boo some people because some people just did not live up to what the Apollo Theater expects. And, you know, it is what it is. But it's also a teaching moment for the people who get booed because it means that you need to go back and step up your game. There have been people who've been booed and come back and done well. Luther Vandross was booed. James Brown was booed from Amateur Night. Lauryn Hill was booed from Amateur Night. So, you know, so it's no big deal. Jamie Foxx, Mike Epps, they were booed on Amateur Night. And look at them. Oh, James Brown, God bless him. James Brown, I can honestly say, was the person who really told me the importance of education. Because what happened was when Mr. Brown performed here all the time, I would say every 4 months he was here in concert, and each time I would see Mr. Brown, he would always ask, how was I doing in school? That was his question, and I always would tell him I was doing great. I see him another 4 months, how was school coming along? Great. One day he asked to see my report card, and the fact of the matter, I wasn't doing great at all. He told me if I didn't bring my grades up, I wasn't allowed to come back here and run errands anymore. And I went from failing everything to being on the honor roll, thanks to James Brown.
So, 30 years ago, the past owner of the Apollo, Percy Sutton, decided to actually take Amateur Night and take what was happening here at the Apollo to a broader scale outside of the 4 walls of the building. And so that's when the show Showtime at the Apollo was created. So it's a mixture of highlighting well-known talent along with the amateur talent that's competing for that, you know, coveted spot. So we're talking Ella Fitzgerald competed on Amateur Night, Jimi Hendrix competed on Amateur Night, and they competed to win, to gain exposure, right, to build their careers.
Hey, Sonia, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right, where you from?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, that's my hometown.
I think Showtime is going to be definitely a celebration of looking back, but also looking forward at who's coming up, because I think there's also a whole generation that has no idea what Showtime at the Apollo was, right? Because it didn't grow up with it. So that younger generation. So I think it's an opportunity to introduce some of the younger generation, I think, to Showtime at the Apollo and the impact that the Apollo Theater has had. And then also introduce them to our history and legacy of the impact, because that's also a big part of the show, is celebrating the history and legacy of the Apollo Theater and what it means to Harlem and what it means to, quite frankly, African American culture.
Ralph Cooper brought to this theater the absolute first ever organized talent show ever done anywhere in the public. You step up to the box office window, you purchase your tickets for Amateur Night at the Apollo, and people have been doing that since 1934. The marquee and the entranceway to the Apollo Theater has been changed over the years, but this is still the same process. You get a ticket, you go inside, and you get to see a great show.